Thank you so much for joining us on Texas City Tales. This is our spooky edition of Texas City Tales. My name is Darcie.
I'm Rhomari.
And I'm Susan.
Okay. Who's going first?
I'll go first. I'm going to go first because this is, again, from somebody that wrote in, and names have changed, but
Right, to protect the innocent.
protect the innocent. But here, this one, I think this one's kind of spooky.
I'm ready.
Called Hands. I feel like all of my
You have
stories
a
are
lot of hand
I know,
stories.
They're spooky.
Okay.
The doctor pulled the stethoscope ear tips out and hung it around his neck. Mr. Weatherby, all of your tests have come back negative, and my examination shows nothing abnormal. Adam knew what was coming next. I'm not crazy, doctor. I'm sorry, Adam, but there is no physical reason I can find for why you occasionally lose control of your hands. I'm sure a psychologist can help you, the doctor said. I don't need therapy. I need answers, said Adam. They seem to have a life all their own. I can't hold a job. I'm under investigation for assault. I almost killed my neighbor.
Oh, Lord.
Okay.
This can't go on like this. I'll try anything at this point. I'm desperate. So after 2 weeks on new medication, Adam saw no progress and grew increasingly sad and hopeless. He was convinced that despite what the doctor said, it was not a psychological problem. That night, a frustrated and angry Adam sat in a chair and drank bourbon. Drunk and weary, he stumbled to the garage and started the table saw. Then slowly lowered his wrists toward the screaming table. Detective Armstrong entered the garage where several uniformed officers had already gathered looking at the blood-soaked body. So what do we got? He asked, taking in the blood-spattered scene. This is a weird one, Detective. He said, this is a weird one. How so, he said. Take a look at the body. He apparently chopped off his own hands with the table saw and bled to death.
Yeah.
Armstrong knelt down next to the body, taking in the grisly scene, and we can't find his hands anywhere.
What?
So they walked off.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
As you were reading, I predicted that he was going to cut his
his own hands off?
but I didn't think that they were going to just walk away.
They took off.
What
They
show
burnt
is
off.
that? The Addams Family?
Addams
Isn't there,
Family,
like,
yeah.
hands?
Yeah,
Ooh.
Yeah.
that's crazy, isn't it?
That's
I
disgusting.
don't know if that would really. I can't stand when the saw blades and you hear them anyway.
Yeah.
And I can't stand that sound.
It's like
so now I'll never be able to hear
nail
it.
on chalkboard.
I
That like
cannot
does
stand
something
it.
to my rib cage.
What
Just,
movie? Did you ever watch The Conjuring?
Yes.
And they're playing hide and seek, but they do like if they need a clue or they can't find where everyone's at, they do like the clap thing or
Right.
something, and then there's some ghost lady
I
also
don't
clapping.
watch scary movies on purpose.
Ooh.
I just,
That was a good movie.
yeah, that was a good story. Good story.
Very good story. Thank you so
Scary.
much for sharing. Okay, I'm up next. Oh, sorry. Okay. My kid's Catholic school is over 100 years old. There's a basement under the gym that's used for storage. I was subbing once, and during recess, one of the kickballs goes down the stairs. A little girl was standing at the top of the stairs yelling, "Just throw it up to me." I went over and asked who she was talking to, and she replied, "That big man downstairs." I went down there, and there was nobody down there, and it was the only way in. I asked the other kids if they had seen the man before, and they said yes, but Sister told us not to talk to him. I asked them to describe Sister, and they described a nun, and there haven't been nuns at that school in 40 years.
Nope.
No. Basements always equal scary.
True.
Always. Fact.
No.
I feel like a lot of scary movies, the good scary movies, always have to do with like the Catholic Church. Sorry.
It's true. No, it's true. Or, you know what I don't like is like if there is a super religious person in those movies and they're praying or whatever, they're usually the first person to die. I don't know if y'all noticed that.
Yeah.
But they are. I was
They
like,
are,
well,
yeah.
dang.
We'll take them first.
That's a bummer.
Your story reminds me of like when the Paranormal Activity movies first started coming out, and they would have like the midnight showing.
Yes.
So like Thursday going into Friday at midnight, and me and my ex would go to every single one. Like it was a tradition. And so we were living in Galveston, but we would come to the Texas City movie theater. I don't know if maybe the one in Galveston wasn't doing the midnight showings. I don't know.
Oh,
but
yeah.
we always came to the Texas City movie theater, and it would be
Better
over at
prices.
like, yeah, for real, because we was broke.
Yeah.
But the movie would be over, and we'd be heading home at like 1:30, 2:30-ish, just depending on how long
Yeah.
the movie was. And like all of the people or whatever.
Those movies scared me so bad.
For
So
real.
bad.
And so there was one night, it was after the very first one, we were driving over the causeway, and there was a man walking. And we were just like, it's almost 2 o'clock in the morning. Why is there somebody walking on the causeway? And so we exit, and we're like, maybe we should go back. Like, let's just do a turnaround. We don't got nothing else to do. We don't have no kids
It's
at that
3
time.
o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
We go back. There's no man. And I don't remember ever seeing anything about somebody like jumping off the bridge. He just kind of like disappeared. So then after the second movie, we again cross the causeway going back into Galveston, and we get to like this stop sign, this intersection, and there's a car on fire, just like blazing, and there's nobody around. So we call 911, and they're like, yeah, we already know about it. And I was like, okay, this car is like engulfed in flames, and there's nobody. We sit for about 5 minutes, and nobody ever showed up.
Weird.
So I was like, maybe we should just go home. Like,
yeah.
Galveston is full of spookiness.
Yeah.
All kinds. I guess because it's so old and
Well, and
it's just
I think a lot of
pirates and
everybody who perished in the 1900 storm, and
the 1900 storm.
my in-laws can tell you all kinds of stories. They're
Yeah.
creepy. Any house that they've stayed in, something happens.
Yeah.
Scary. So we were in college, and we did the same thing. My roommates and I, and we watched the first Paranormal Activity in theaters, midnight showing. It was packed. Everybody was super excited. We watched the movie. I was so terrified. I hated it. I literally, like, the longer it went on, because it goes night 1, night 2, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, how many nights is it? And I'm just like sinking in my chair. Well, 2 of my roommates slept in my bed with me that night because we're all just chickens. My other roommate, who, that stuff didn't like bother her. She was a Shira. And she was in her room, and she had her, like every little room has our little desk, the computer, the printer. Her printer started just shooting paper out in the middle of the night. Like, as if it was printing, but there was nothing coming out. It was just shooting out paper. Yeah. And she's like, she said she got up, she unplugged the printer, and then went back to sleep. I was like, you don't want to come and stay in our room? She's like, nah, I don't know what was happening, but it never did that before, and it never did it since.
Oh no.
So
she's
She's braver than
she's
I.
super brave.
No.
Braver than
No.
I. Running.
Do you know
Ever
if the
see me
paper
running?
said anything? What if there was like
Oh
a
my
message on the paper?
gosh.
Oh my god.
No, I have
Hidden
to
ink.
ask. Oh gosh.
Yeah,
Ugh.
that's creepy. Have you ever had a creepy
No,
experience?
not really. But we were talking about Galveston, and my sister lived in Galveston before she had a baby. They had tried to have baby and didn't work out so well. But this was before she got her son, and she lived in a house in Galveston. And she said that she would hear like running in the house, and at all different times at night.
Yeah.
She said I'd hear running, or we'd hear the water turning on in the bathroom, and she says, but it was like a playful
Right.
kind of
Yeah.
sounds. So she said she would come in and she would say, it's time to go to bed. We're not doing this today or whatever. And it kept on. And so shortly after that, she got her son. So we felt like it was like maybe a sign that it was good things to come, but it wasn't a bad ghost. It was
Right.
just a playful ghost.
Just something that was there.
Again on Galveston.
Well, that was a good ending.
Yeah.
I feel like people that like talk
Yeah,
back
that's-
to whatever, like they've got to be strong, because
So when the priest came over, he said, "Don't talk to anything that you hear or see or might feel. Don't acknowledge it. Don't ask, what do you want? What are you doing here? Don't say anything to it. because that's just encouraging it. Or he said different spirits can like pretend to be what you want them to be, what you're desiring, or if you think it's somebody visiting you, then it can be manipulative and say and be whoever you want that person to be. Like, I think so is visiting me. No, that's just like a bad spirit pretending to be that person. Or somebody spooky.
I would have never thought that.
I know. Well, and I didn't know that either.
So you scared me even more.
I thought she was like,
I think it's like twofold, because I feel like it's kind of biblical to speak to those things. But then on the flip side, like I feel like that's why you have to be a strong and sound individual. Because like you said, I know that my grandma in her house in California, there was something. I feel like there was a presence. And she used to say that, that's just Granny. People would tell us, that's just Granny. Mm-hmm. But as I got older, I was like, something is kind of off about whatever is here. Like, it was one of those things where you are like timing. I'm going to turn off the light and
then
run
back
to the room to slam the door kind of thing. Like, always. Like, it was terrifying. And she was fine with it and comfortable with it, because I think that she was used to it and maybe believed that, like, it was her mom. Yeah. But I'm like,
no,
I don't think so.
That's so spooky. Yeah. My grandma, she had a ghost that lived at her house that she called George. And she was just convinced that it was like a past husband or whatever. And she's like, something was lost. Oh, George moved it. No big deal. I'll find it. And it was kind of humorous. But I never like heard her like have conversations.
Right.
Other than just like, George, why'd you move this? And that could have been her. Anywho. Well.
Well, these were some good stories.
They were.
Definitely.
We'll have to sleep with the lights on tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Watch cartoons before you go to sleep.
Yes.
Well, thank you to our listeners for tuning in to another episode of Texas City Tales, the spooky edition. Thank you to the City of Texas City for sponsoring this podcast, and we will catch you for another episode of Texas City Tales. Bye.
Yay.